We are also very much for being here. Everyone that's tuned in at this time, greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. What is going on, Jake? How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Very bittersweet with the last two games. A lot of good takeaways though, actually. How about you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm good. I agree. Like the good and the bad. And I mean that's kind of a good place to start. Is we lost yesterday. It was a rough game. Outside of D'Lo, nobody else really like shined. AD had a bad game, but still, I mean, like his bad game was a 17 and 16 game or something like
Yeah.
that with like 4 assists and blocks. But he wasn't the dominant AD that we're accustomed to. But
He
there's
just
good
looked
games.
tired.
Yeah, I mean, there's good games and there's bad games. The game before, I know I see a lot of people that are like, Anthony Davis had 2 straight bad games. He did it. He took 7 shots in the previous game. He completely controlled that game. He didn't have to dominate. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference between a bad game where he just couldn't get anything to fall, like against the Knicks, and then a game where he just played team basketball.
Yeah.
And didn't try to do too much because why would he try to wear himself down? That's that. But Toronto's entire game plan was to make everyone else beat you. So
Yeah.
guys beat him. So why would you try to disrupt that flow of that team of that game? So I didn't mind that game. Look, you're gonna have losses. We're gonna have more losses as the games continue to go forward. It's how do we respond the next game? How do we respond from that? We have 14 games left. Again, you can make an argument all 14 games we could win. Thing is that we're probably not going to win all 14 games, but can we go 9-5 or 10-4 or 11-3? Especially when LeBron gets back. We'll talk about LeBron in a moment. But like as far as like the games go, like I really do think. I mean, we just went 8-4 in our last 12.
Yeah.
If we replicate that, then we only have to win our last 2 games, and then there you go. Now we're over 500 for the season. We're probably in the 7th or 6th seed at the worst. That's not a bad thing. That's not the worst thing in the world. And now you're off to the races trying to get into the playoffs, and then play very likely either Denver, the Kings, or Memphis. Probably how it's going to go. So regardless, at the end of the day, I trust this team. I like this team. We've seen enough to know like this team is good. This team is better than what they are, or what the record shows. And you're going to have some L's. You're going to take some tough losses. But it's again, how do we respond the next game? The Pelicans game, we have to win. Like have to.
Yes. Yes.
Like that, because that gives us the tiebreaker. That gives us 3-1 against them. Not only that, but it helps us with draft spot, right? Or not draft, draft spots, because they could swap the draft pick. So we want to keep our draft pick. And then on top of that, it just inches us. It gives us some space between those teams. So our next 4 games are what? They're the Pelicans, the Rockets. Both of those games we should win. All of a sudden, we're at 500. We got the tiebreaker against the Pelicans. That's huge. Right now, we're in a good position once again. And then, then we go on the homestand, and you got like, Dallas, and, you got the Thunder, and you got Minnesota coming up. Like those 3 games. Again, all 3 of those games are must-win games. You got to win. As long as we beat the teams that we're like tied or like right in front of, then we'll be fine, because we'll, the other games will average themselves out, right? Because you got to think, if we win those 4 games, there's 4 of the 10 wins out of 14 games. So that means you have 10 games that, even if you go 5-5 in those 10 games, you go 50% in those 10 games. As long as you win those 4, then you'll very likely be in the position you want to be in. Because you'll have the tiebreakers over those teams. Because that means we would have won more games against Thunder. It means we would have won more games against Dallas. And the Timberwolves, we'd be what 2-1 or whatever, 3-1 with. Yeah. But again, we gotta win those games. You win those games, we'll be in a much better position, much better place. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a different kind of twist on that?
No, no, not quite. Looking at the game yesterday, I definitely I don't think that we're gonna win. Like obviously all 14. I know it's one game, but it's like it boils down to a game we should have won. But honestly, you got guys that are tired. It's the end of the season. Like AD, the fact that AD didn't have a good game, he's probably just tired. Honestly, it wasn't like I don't think that they were kind of stopping him or locking him down or anything. After watching it, it just honestly just looks like he's tired. He was walking on a few plays and just like little things like that. But looking at like the schedule, we have, like you said, we got the Pelicans, which we absolutely have to win. Then we have the Rockets, then the Mavs. See, it's one of those situations where it's like, as tired as we are, they have to like give it their full out and like actually like really play these last few games. Because if not, we're gonna find ourselves in a pretty bad position. Um, Honestly, I think how this is the rest of the season is gonna go. I think we're gonna beat probably every team except for the Mavs. We're gonna lose one of the Bulls games, and I think that Timberwolves are probably gonna surprise us. So I think we'll lose four, maybe 3 games for the rest of the season. Um, so not too bad there. Um, but yeah, I think like I agree. We'll be fine. I just think that some of these late games, like for example, like in this last game in the third quarter, like that push that we made in the third quarter, like that was great. All we had to do is just hold on to that lead, make smart decisions. You know what I mean? But it's just it got out of like I love to see that run. That run was beautiful, honestly. Um, and just a quick note, we are running a lot of pick and rolls. I don't know if you noticed that, but
It's good.
we're
So, especially with D'Lo. D'Lo's one of the better pick and
no
roll point
don't get me
guards.
wrong. I don't mind it, but it's like, man, that is our go-to option. That's like
Yeah,
like that is like all we were running almost. It just like which is fine, but I don't know. I feel like we need to switch it up just a little bit. I feel like
yeah.
Darvin Ham should probably call some, like you said, maybe even call some plays for like Ruri and like get it switched up.
They've been doing a better job. But Rui's been
No,
playing
they
well as of late.
they have, but I've also noticed too. It's like when Rui's like out open on the perimeter on like a fast break, or you know what I mean, like or he's like cutting or something like that. I do agree with you. You made a good point last stream. If they call some plays for him more so, like you said, they have been doing a better job, and kind of get him involved in the offense more. Um, Another good thing too I saw is Schroeder and Winning Gabriel. That whole little like give and go thing that they got was, yeah, they used that a few times, and I'm like, I want to see more of this. Like, there's a couple sets with those two where I'm like, we gotta see more of this. And our bench unit, like down this last stretch, like we're talking about, having a decent spot for the playoffs down this last stretch. Our bench unit is going to be so key.
Our
So
bench, our bench has been really good. I mean, we outscored Toronto's bench, what,
yeah,
62-12 or something like that?
they're doing
Like that's
great.
insane.
They-
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
they're doing
and
great.
yeah, and we have one of the better benches, which is good. It's valuable. It takes a lot of pressure off the starters, takes a lot of pressure off just everything in general.
Yeah,
But we look, the Lakers know what's at hand. They know what they have to do.
yeah.
They know they have to win games. D'Lo's playing great basketball right now. He's
Yes,
got to
he is.
continue. He's got to continue that.
Doesn't even look
Anthony.
like he was injured. That's like it's crazy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
he's looking good. He's looking great. But also, he's not. It
dude's
helps that he's
three
not
though
like
is
an
smooth.
explosive. He's not. Yeah, he's more smooth. He's
Yeah.
more calculated than explosive. He's not like an Anthony Edwards type player or like
Yeah.
a Russell Westbrook type player.
What did
He's
you say the
more of
other day?
like
You said more Harden than Westbrook. I
yeah,
feel like that
yeah,
was a
exactly.
great. Yeah,
He's more hardened than Westbrook, right? He's very slow, kind of goes at his own pace, um, and he's a guy that just his playmaking. You're seeing the change. You're seeing the difference. His ability to score at all three levels is really huge. And just him taking pressure off of AD really helps. Because AD doesn't have to be superhuman in order to be that. And I'm sure that there's some you know, D'Lo came back, so Davis is kind of letting him run the show a little bit. I'm sure that there is a little bit of that. Like
yeah,
let D'Lo kind of get comfortable, get his shot under him, and they'll find that balance. I'm sure that they'll figure that balance out. But it's just they got to just keep tagging away. You know, like you lose a game, fine. You take the loss, you brush it off, and you move on to the next one. Get the next game going. You know, get the next game going. You know, for every one you lose, you win 3 or 4. You're fine. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna go 10-3 or 10-4. It's how it's gonna work. And then when LeBron gets back, which we can kind of pivot into that, like that once LeBron gets back, um, that should help tremendously because very likely LeBron will be back around those Bulls games.
Yeah.
LeBron, the boots off. He's on track according to Darvin Ham. Everything's going according to plan. Everything's going according to schedule. So let's say he comes back for that second Bulls game, then that's huge. We might not lose a game. I mean, we're 3-0 with this team fully healthy.
Yeah.
Right. If we get LeBron back, that last, let's say we get him back on the second Bulls game. You have the second Bulls game, you have the Timberwolves game, you have like 2 games against the Jazz, the Clippers, and the Suns.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think I'm missing a game, but anyway, you got like the last 6 or 7 games, whatever it is. And realistically, we could go 7-0 in that stretch. Like it's not unrealistic to think like when LeBron gets back, everyone kind of balances better. I don't think it's a coincidence that Malik Beasley, his best game was when LeBron and D'Lo were playing. He had those nice stretches of games where he was shooting great because you have LeBron James and D'Lo that are both able to set him up and both are able to just draw defenders and stuff, so they can't glue a guy to Beasley the way that they have been. Although the Knicks did kind of just let Beasley shoot a little more. He's got to knock those down
too. Yeah, and I was like, this is your night. They're letting you have it. Just knock them down. But as a shooter goes, they're not going to be able to knock them down every single night. So what you're saying essentially, if we win those 1, 2, 3, 4, so if we win those 6 games after LeBron comes back, let's say he comes back March 29th, so the end of the month, which is like the last Bulls game, the second Bulls game.
Yeah.
So essentially, what we have to do before then is at least win 2 or 3. And if we could obviously lock in when LeBron comes back, win those 6, but before he comes back, we have to win 2 or 3 to get us in a decent spot. And those teams that are tied with us, and hopefully they can lose a few games too. So really, if we could just win 2 more before LeBron comes back, we'll be.
That's what I'm saying. So say we go. Okay, say our last 7 games, LeBron comes back. Let's say we don't go 7-0. Let's say we go 6-1.
Okay.
Again, you got Utah twice, who we should beat, especially towards the end of the season. They're probably going to be playing for draft position at that point. So those 2 teams, right? You have that second Bulls game. You got the
Timberwolves right after
the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
You have the Suns. You have the Clippers. And there's another game I'm missing. What's the other game?
The Rockets.
The Rockets. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the very least, you're beating Utah twice. You're beating the Rockets once. You're probably winning that Bulls game. And so there's 4 out of those 7. The Suns probably rest everybody. I know a lot of people think they won't rest people against the Lakers, but if they're already locked into a playoff spot, KD's already hurt. They're not going to risk.
I was going to say, not to mention,
they're not going to risk getting KD, Chris Paul, or Devin Booker hurt. They're not, because they know their playoff series is done. So they'll probably sit at least those 3. So there's 5 wins right there, and then you have the Clippers and the Timberwolves game. You win one of those 2 games, there's your 6th game, right?
Which more than likely, I feel like it's going to be the Timberwolves game.
Okay, so then you beat the Timberwolves, right? There's your 6 games, right?
Yeah.
So those 6 games, if you win those, and if the Clippers lock up, right, because they're starting to win again. If they get the 5th seed locked up, they might not even play guys. They might just rest Chris Paul and or not Chris Paul, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They might just sit those guys. So you could go 7-0. But let's say we go 6-1. That means over the other 7 games, you only got to win 3 or 4. And so out of these next 7 games, as long as you go 3-4 or 4-3, preferably you win those that Mavs, the Pelicans, and the Thunder game. You win those 3, and then you win one of the other games. You're fine. You're good. Now I think they'll win more than that, but as long as you win those games, those 3 games, and then you just get a random win, and then you do go like 6-1 with LeBron,
Yeah.
then there you go. You're probably the 6th seed. At worst, you're probably the 7th seed, which is realistically where they're probably going to fall into that 7th or 8th seed,
Yeah.
probably where they're going to be at, right? And so I think that no matter what, however you slice it, I think the Lakers will be fine.
Yeah.
Even if we
will
lose a
at
couple
least make
games
the
before LeBron.
playoffs.
Yeah, we're not. We'll at least be a play-in team.
Sorry, play-in.
Like,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, well, at the very worst, we'll be a play-in team. But I don't want to get that 9th, 10th seed. Just because if you get that 9th, 10th seed, it makes things so difficult.
Yeah.
So difficult, right? Because
you gotta beat
you have to be
two
perfect.
teams before. Yeah, you gotta beat 2 teams before you can even get into the playoffs. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And if any of those teams, like let's say we are the 10th seed or the 9th seed, right? And let's say we play the Pelicans in the first game, right? If the Pelicans just shoot the lights out and there's just nothing you can do, like it's a Portland game, you're in trouble, right? So then, but let's say you do beat the Pelicans. Now you're going and playing like Dallas or, the Jazz or something like that, whomever. Again, like if they just shoot the lights out, there's nothing you could do. You lose. Where at least if you're in that 7th, 8th spot, you only gotta win. You have 2 to win 1. You have 2 chances to just win 1 game. Just don't go 0-2, and you're fine, right? Yeah. And so if you do that and you win 1 game, now you're in. Now you're, if you win that first game, you're the 7th seed. If you win that second game, you're the 8th seed. You're playing either the Kings, the Memphis Grizzlies, or you're playing the Denver Nuggets, which all 3 of those teams I think we can beat. But if you're the 9th or 10th seed, you're playing 2 games and then immediately on like no rest, like a day's rest, going into a matchup against the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
That's rough. Now, yes, maybe that momentum and not having that time off and stuff, maybe that would help. You can make that argument like, if we're clicking, we just won those 2 games. We're feeling good. We're in the playoffs. Maybe you kind of ride that momentum, but it's just a lot of extra games to now have to get through just to reach where you could be. Where at least if you're the 7th, 8th seed, you get an extra day. You get, especially if you win that first game, now you got like 2 days rest. So, you get your little, walkthrough done. You watch some tape on your matchup because you already know who you're playing. So now you get the matchup, you get, a day or 2 to kind of like make your adjustments, do what you need to do for game 1. And now you're off to the races. Yeah. So again, but I mean, everything that we've seen from the Lakers say that they'll win more than they're going to lose right now. I mean, since
with
starting
the new roster.
Since starting 2-10, we have like the 3rd or 4th best record in the West, and we have like the 8th best record in the league. It's just that 2-10 start. We were so far behind the 8 ball that we had to play catch up the whole time. Yeah. And that's what made things difficult. Is that we just, and a lot of that was with the old team, which isn't as good as this team.
Yeah.
We're number 1 in defense. We're top 5 in offense, top 6 in offense. Like, we're everything that you need to, 1, be a contender, right? And 2, to just get into the playoffs. It's just buckling down. We have a favorable schedule. Our schedule is top 3 now. I think it's top 3 easiest or top 4 easiest in the league. So you got a favorable schedule. You have a better team, and you have a real shot here. Guys continue to lose. Dallas lost today. The Jazz lost today. Yeah. Timberwolves won, which kind of sucks. I mean, they blew the Hawks out. I was hoping the Hawks would at least make it better. They didn't. They just blew them out. But still, you got a favorable. You have everything that you could want and ask for to get into the playoffs. You have at your disposal. It's just, will the Lakers do what they need to do it?
Well, yeah, we got. I mean, outside the Mavs, Timberwolves, and Suns, I mean, we got OKC, Magic, the Bulls. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these teams are very, very beatable. Like, it's
exactly.
I agree with you. It's the perfect case scenario to say, like, hey, put together a schedule, a winnable schedule, and see what we can do. It's definitely doable. Like, by all means. And I think we'll get it done. But I will say this though, when it comes to the play-in, some team is gonna do it. I don't know who's gonna do it in the future, but some team is gonna be that first team to like ever like be in the play-in, win 2 games, and go all the way to the finals and win it. Yeah.
It'll probably be a team, and I'm not saying the Lakers will do it necessarily. I do think they have a real chance, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be something like that where like like the Lakers, a team like the Lakers, where like the Lakers ended up, they had injuries all year, but they were able to kind of cope
Roster
and got to the
changes and
play-in.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
then everyone was healthy for the playoffs,
Yeah.
right? Like, that'll probably end up happening. Like just throwing this out there. Say Giannis gets hurt next season. Knock on wood. I don't want that to happen. But let's
Yeah.
just hypothetically speaking. Say Giannis gets hurt next season and misses, 60 games or something like that. And now Milwaukee's in the play-in. Giannis comes back that last stretch of games. They go on a run. They're in the play-in. Let's say they're the 7th seed. They win. Really, they're the best team in the East. They just lost their best player, and now Giannis is back, and they just run through everybody in the playoffs. That's probably
that's what the Clippers
sooner.
tried to do. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Without like actually, I don't want to say these guys aren't really injured, but like you look at like Kawhi Leonard in that whole situation. Like I feel like it's a little bit of padding, and it's like, hey, we're injured most of the season, and then playoffs, we're good, we're healthy, we're ready to go. It's
well, that's what the Lakers are trying to do. I mean, well, not this year. I could see the Lakers kind of doing that next year. Like,
next year makes sense because you have a roster that can actually carry you and at least get you into a play-in spot.
Yeah, my guess, and this is something that I should actually make a video on this because it's something that I've thought about for a while too. And this is an argument for like Malik Beasley. Like so many people want the Lakers to not play like Malik Beasley, or start somebody else, stuff like that.
Like start the Lakers over Beasley.
Yeah, but in general, we could talk about that in a second. But it's just a point that I want to make real quick. Is that like something like you got to keep in mind? Rob Pelinka and the Lakers are evaluating these guys also, right? Like they traded for these guys to see like are these guys good enough, right? So let's say Malik Beasley doesn't turn it around. Let's say he continues to play this way, right? Well, you have like his $16.5 million contract next year. You got Mo Bamba's like $10 million contract next year. You got like several of these like tradable contracts. You have 2 draft picks. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers try to tweak something to go get another guy, and I'm not talking about like a Kyrie or something like that. Could they? Maybe. But I'm saying like, whatever. Like, let's say Miles Turner, right? Like you could take Beasley's contract and attach like a first round and like a second round pick and go get Miles Turner and add Miles Turner to this team. I'm just throwing names out there that people know. I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like the Lakers, this is also an evaluation process to see what do we need for next year. Also, we got the core guys, right? You got LeBron, you got AD, you got D'Lo, you got Vanderbilt, right? You got Reeves, you got Christie now.
Yeah,
you probably keep Dennis Schroeder. So you got like 7 to 8 guys that you're guaranteed to keep next year. But you have several contracts that now you could look at and go, okay, well, out of these guys, are we keeping any of these guys? If not, what's available in the offseason for us to get? Maybe you go and get a DeMar DeRozan, right? Maybe you take Beasley and Mo Bamba and go get a DeMar DeRozan, and now you have like D'Lo, DeMar, LeBron, and AD, right? Yeah. And it's like now you might be the best team in the league, something like that. So, just a thought. But sorry, what was the point? Again, I was just throwing this out there. I'm not saying that they will do that. I'm not saying they will like anything like that will necessarily happen. But this is a lot of like just evaluations in general. Yeah. But what was the point you were trying to make?
No. We were just talking about the whole plan, and I feel like, like this is the team that, you could do that hypothetically, right? You could have AD sit, you could have LeBron sit and be injured for the majority of the season, right? Because this team alone, without the 2 stars, with D'Lo, with those guys, could carry you potentially to a play-in spot. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have to play like AD and LeBron, at least 20 to 30 games at least,
Yeah.
because I mean, without it being too like, hey, obviously you're just like, loading guys off into the playoffs, but this team alone could do that. I would say. I don't know about you. I don't know what's your take on it, but like if you remove AD and LeBron for this team for the majority of the season, minus, like I said, let's just minus 30. Like let's say AD sits 30, LeBron sits 30. I think we still make play in. You know what I mean? And I think it gives them enough rest to be able to now, but then again, they have to do it in a way that, the league doesn't raise an eye and, give us a slap on the wrist for it. Cause I know it's frowned upon, but like I said, some teams kind of get away with it, but
Yeah.
that's just,
well, I mean, when you have the depth and the talent, like, so next year, right? Like, for example, like if this team played from the beginning of the season, even with all the LeBron and AD injuries, we'd probably still be a top 4 or 5 team. Like,
yeah,
legit.
because how many
Like,
games did they miss this year? Honestly,
I mean, between LeBron and AD, they've missed like 60, like collective. Yeah. So, but like we were able to stay afloat with a far less team, and you would have had an entire training camp, an entire offseason, entire training camp, entire preseason to kind of figure it out. So next year, like you can kind of load manage LeBron and AD and get away with it next year because your team is just going to be more balanced. And then, like I said, you can make whatever tweaks you need to make, right?
Yeah.
Again, like, you do, like, if maybe the Pacers trade all of a sudden is on the table again, right? And maybe you could take Mo Bamba and Beasley and package that with, both your first round picks and go get Miles Turner. Imagine now at this point with this roster, imagine having D'Lo, you have Buddy Hield, you have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Jared Vanderbilt, and Miles Turner. Like, you're already the number one defense right now. Imagine if you added Miles Turner to them. You could have LeBron play point at that point again.
That's a high scoring offense. Hey,
dude, that'd be insane.
Guess what Ham's gonna do? Schroeder, D'Lo, and like if you got like Buddy Hield or something like that, just
again, most, like, I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not even saying I want it to happen. I'm just throwing out a potential. My point is with saying that is the Lakers are going to have the rest of this season and hopefully the playoffs to really look at this team, evaluate this team, and go, okay, well, what do we need? And it might not even be through a trade. You might not even have to do a trade. Maybe you have your taxpayer mid-level, you have your, you'll have your biannual. Maybe you could find a guy or two in that area that can come in. I mean, I don't really know how many impact free agents are going to be available next season, but you never know. You might get a guy or two on that team. And, the point is that, like, it gives you an opportunity to evaluate guys, see what you need, and then make adjustments accordingly in the offseason. And if something does come up that does make sense, again, like I said, the Pacers, like, if that becomes an option again, then you can address it and say, okay, well, maybe that's the thing we need, or like I said, a DeMar DeRozan, or, maybe a Trae Young becomes available or something like that. Maybe there is something. I mean, there's I mean, I'm not saying any of that stuff will happen, but I'm saying it's not out of the realm of possibility. Every offseason, you start seeing all these guys that all of a sudden become available and everybody wants to see. So the Lakers, the beauty is the Lakers, at worst case, put themselves in a position to actually have assets that they can now take and make moves. Where, if they didn't make these trades, Russell Westbrook falls off. You don't have any really tradable players. Yeah. Right. But now you have Beasley. You have, Davon Reed has another year next year. You have, I believe it's
Mo Bamba.
You have Mo Bamba. You have basically 30 to 35 million in salaries that are available for you to now go trade, and you could still keep D'Lo, LeBron, and AD and Vanderbilt. Those are your core 4 guys. Of course, Reeves and stuff like that. But I'm saying the main package guys. So we still have to sign Reeves. We'll see how that goes. But
most valuable, I would say those are our core 4 guys for sure.
Yeah, those are your core 4 guys that you essentially have locked up. I don't see D'Lo going anywhere. I'm not worried about D'Lo leaving because 1, not a lot of teams have money. 2, the Lakers can offer him the most money with the most years. The only reason they're not signing him now is because they sign him now to an extension, he'd only get 2 years. If they wait till the offseason, he'd get 4 years. Woj reported earlier today, which I want to make a video on later tonight, but Woj reported earlier today that D'Lo wants to be the Lakers point guard of the future. D'Lo's not going to go anywhere. He'll probably sign 4 years, 100 to 125 or 100 to 125 million. Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. And he'll be here for the next 4 years. And we'll see where that goes. So the Lakers can keep their core 4 guys. And, and then beyond that, they can sign whoever they need to sign, but still have, like I said, 30 million in tradable salary to go get a piece or two that now you have, that now you can go and add to those core 4 guys. And now maybe you're the deepest, best team in the league. Who cares about Kevin Durant on the Suns? If you got, Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jared Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder. Like, come on. Like, you're not beating that team in a 7-game series. Like, it's just.
Yeah. No, I agree. But see, and that's the thing too. But it's like, I feel like there's a toss up between, okay, we add to this team, trade in pieces, but hey, this is a team that we could have got here with currently right now constructed. How do we know it? We just didn't have enough time. That's the only thing, It's like, okay, do we make it, like, let's say we get knocked out first or second round of the playoffs. Do you sit back and say, okay, well, we just didn't have enough time with this full roster? Or should we just go ahead and change it up if something does more come available? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, if it's a better trade, if it's an all-around better trade on paper and it just makes sense, obviously, yes, you go for the trade, right? Whether it's, hey, we pick up like a Cousins or something, free agent, whatever, in the offseason, whatever, go get a Turner, whatever the case and scenario, whatever that looks like, I think you do it. But if you're just trading pieces to swap out, similar to mid-tier guys, it's like, how do we know we just didn't have enough time with this current roster? That's why I want to see a full season with this roster. You know what I mean? That's the hard part. It's just because chemistry, because the guys who we're going to be playing up against in the playoffs, most of these teams have been constructed how they are for the majority of the season. I think we're, besides maybe a few other teams, a lot of teams have done a big roster changes this year, but the teams that we're going to see in the West Coast are teams that have kind of been constructed, right? Like, Denver, you know what I mean? So it's like, we have had to change our whole entire roster, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to tell, like, okay, is this the team? Do we just not have enough time, or do we just need to go ahead and switch it up? And that's what's tough.
But my only thing, like, even if the Lakers win the championship this year, because you can always get better.
No, absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So my thing, like, let's say best case scenario, let's say the Lakers make the playoffs, they win the NBA championship this year.
Okay.
And again, just using this as an example, but Buddy Hield and Miles Turner are available, and you can trade them for Beasley, Mo Bamba, and 2 firsts. You make that trade.
But okay, but see, that's right. Okay, so how did they perform though? What did Beasley do in the playoffs? What did you know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't like
at that point.
Like,
does it not matter? Beasley, like, let's Beasley drops like 20. Like, let's say, okay, just for hypothetical, let's say he goes 25 and 10. He averages 25 and 10 throughout the playoffs, right? Which is not out of the realm of possibility for Beasley. Let's just say that he averages 25 and 10. Do you still go and get, like, do you?
Yes,
because I get it.
Because the package as a whole is better. So Miles Turner right now, because let's say you win the championship, Miles Turner right now, and again, I'm not. It could be anything. It could be something else. But I'm just using them as an example, right? Miles Turner right now is better than Mo Bamba. So if you can upgrade, if you can turn Mo Bamba into an already established best case scenario, Mo Bamba turns into that guy.
Yeah.
But you can get him now. He's still young enough to where you can have him with this team for the next 4+ years. You do that, right? And then Beasley and Hield are just basically a swap, right? I mean, they're essentially, I mean, Beasley's is a better defender and he's younger, but still you're basically getting the same type of player, but you're also upgrading another position that helps tremendously, right?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that that'll even be on the table. But the point in general is that if you can get better, you get better. If it's realistic, if it's real, like if the Lakers could win the championship this year, perfect. But even if you win the championship, you still do what you have to do to be better, right? So that way next season, the Warriors, they win the NBA championship. What do? They go get Kevin Durant. Like that, like that's how it works. I mean, granted, they didn't win the year before they got Kevin Durant, but they were already a championship team. Kevin Durant became available. They said, let's get him. They could have easily said, we're already good enough. We won a championship. We're one of the best teams. We're coming off a great season. It didn't end the way we wanted. But no, you see the good teams. The Bulls, they're winning championships. Get rid of Horace Grant. Go get Dennis Rodman. Go get Steve Kerr. Go get, you get like championship teams don't stay stagnant. They continue to improve. They continue to develop. They continue to get better. And as long as you have your core pieces, your D'Lo, your LeBron, your AD, your Vanderbilt, preferably Austin Reeves, as long as you keep those core guys in place, all of the other interchangeable guys you're looking to upgrade that period. Like
so you're saying essentially, as long as you keep your starting five for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Because at this point,
as long as you keep your core guys. Yeah. Like, so for example, like the Warriors, right? Like, again, like, you think tomorrow, or this offseason, you think like if they couldn't go, or Andrew Wiggins is a great example, right? They went unloaded Kevin Durant, got D'Lo, kind of rode a couple seasons, everyone got better, and then they went and got Andrew Wiggins and win another championship, right? Yeah. Like they took a piece that they got for trades and ended up upgrading to something else. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, right? And that's the thing. Like championship teams continue to tweak. You're not trading Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. No, you're keeping your core guys intact and you're changing the interchangeable pieces. Okay, well, let's go get an Andrew Bogut. Let's go get, an Andre Iguodala. Let's go get a Sean Livingston. Let's go get you're okay, well, those guys are gone. Okay, let's go get an Andrew Wiggins. Let's go get a Kevin Durant. Let's go, that's what you do, right? All these teams, like the Suns were just in the NBA Finals, 2 years ago. What do? They went and traded everything to go get Kevin Durant. If you can get better, you get better. Yeah. Right. If you have the opportunity to make your team better and improve, that's what you do, and that is how it works, and again, especially if your title window is now, right? Like if your title window isn't now, then maybe you keep Mo Bamba to develop him. But no, you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you can improve the team now, but also maintain flexibility for the future, which a deal like that, like just example that I use, that kind of deal would keep you for the long haul. Like, because not only does that help your title window now, but it helps when in 2 years when LeBron leaves, right? If Anthony Davis wants out and he wants to get traded, okay, well now you can trade him and at least you have those pieces. You still have, Miles in this hypothetical scenario. You'd have Miles Turner, Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, Buddy Hield, Austin Reeves, these kind of guys, and now you go take Anthony Davis, go get the other pieces you need, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Like if you have the opportunity to improve and get better, you go and get better. That's what it boils down to. But again, this is all just hypothetical stuff. Like this is all just stuff that we'll see how the offseason goes. But I do think it's part of like what is going on right now. Yes, we're trying to win games. Yes, we're trying to get in the playoffs. Yes, we're trying to win an NBA championship. Yes, we do have a real chance. But if you're in the process, not if you can, like in the process of all of this, they're still evaluating guys. They're still looking, okay, how is Beasley with this team? They're going to have 25 games under their belt plus the playoffs, and if Beasley continues to play the way he's playing, if you can turn him into a more consistent guy, why wouldn't you turn him into a more consistent guy? If it's something where, let's say Beasley is killing it, right? Like, let's say Beasley does turn it around. Let's say I'm not even saying he gets to 25 points. Let's say he's just, he gets to 12 to 15 points. He's spreading the floor. He's shooting, he gets back to 38%, 39% from three. He's shooting whatever, 5 of 11 from three. Right. And it's like, okay, cool. Perfect. Like, why would you trade that guy for Buddy Hield at that point? Right. He's a younger, it has proven that he works with this team. Again, it's part of the evaluation. You're evaluating, looking, okay, how does this work? Can we turn, him into the same type of player but better? Can we turn him into can we turn Mo Bamba into the same type of player but better?
Yeah.
Like all of those things, like because these guys are still young, you're still developing them and stuff like that. But if you have an opportunity to tie into your championship window, you tie into your championship window. So that's kind of my point. But anyway, let's dive into some of the chat here, and then we'll start skating on out of here. But only thing I got to say, or only thing I think the only thing I got to say is Lakers better re-sign D'Lo. We need a win next game. They will. They'll sign. He's not going anywhere. Like I said, you'll probably sign a 120 million deal. He's not going to get 40 million a year. I don't see. I mean, maybe the Lakers give it to him, but I just don't see it. I don't think they're going to give him 40 million a year for 4 years. I mean, he's good, but he's not that good.
Really quick, who do you think is like chopping block? Give me a name or two.
Like on the Lakers right now?
Well, yeah, like let's fast forward into the season. No matter what the results of this season are, just who do you think could potentially end up on the chopping block?
Like for trade wise, or do I?
Yeah,
think, or just like who do I think we're gonna let go in the offseason?
Either or, like trade wise, or
whether for example, Lonnie Walker, I think is gone.
Okay.
After this year, I don't think we keep Lonnie Walker.
Troy Brown playtime though. I was like, ugh. Like
yeah, I mean, it just. I know a lot of people want. Lonnie Walker to get more playing time.
I don't know that I even want to anymore after seeing everything else, but I just
he's a good vacuum guy. Like you put him in for like 10 minutes a game and hopefully he gets you 8 points.
I'm telling you, he's gonna go somewhere where he can start. Like, you know what I mean? He's gonna go.
I mean, look, I think he has a lot of problems. He's still young. He's like what, 24, 25 years old.
Well, on a struggling team, he would be a nice starting, that would be a nice
a team that he can allow him to develop the way that he needs to develop. I think he would be great in. Like I think in the right situation, he could be really.
Do you
good.
think it's kind of like a D'Lo situation to where like he's gonna go away from the Lakers, he's gonna get really good, he's gonna develop more. Then I'm not saying he's gonna come back, but it's just I feel like it's one of those like situations. You know what I mean? Like a lot of players.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah,
you see it a lot. You see it a lot with young players that have potential. Like what ends up happening is, they get on a team that's trying to compete for championships, so they're not getting the playing time or the development that they need, and then, they end up going to a team that can, and they develop and blossom. I mean, look at D'Lo. D'Lo goes to the Nets, and he develops into an all-star, and then leads a team to a playoffs, and then ends up being part of the Kevin Durant trade. Otherwise, he probably would have stayed in Brooklyn, and then. He ends up going from, and the only reason Golden State took D'Lo was just to get something out of the KD trade. So then they get D'Lo, and the intention was always to trade him for something. So then he ends up getting traded for Andrew Wiggins on the Timberwolves, and now you got full circle. It's crazy how things work out. Now look, D'Lo is better suited now than he's ever been. That kind of thing. So. I mean, there's several guys. Winning Gabriel, I think, is a coin flip. I think.
Yep, that's another one.
Yeah, I think Troy Brown is a coin flip. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think most of the guys will. I think most of the guys will end up sticking around, just because you're going to want to keep them, even just for trade chips. So I do think a lot of guys stick around. What's going on, Gain? Appreciate you being here. It's going down. Ooh, oh no, what did I do? Bear with me a second. There we go. I lost my place. Man, a lot of chat questions. I accidentally hit the enlarged screen, so it took away the. There we go. It's going down to the last game of the season to decide who gets in. Have to reach 500 to get in the playoffs. Every team in the hunt is hungry for some playoffs. Not easy. Yeah, I agree. You got just win your games and you'll be fine. D'Lo is that guy. We need him next year. Yeah, we'll keep him. What's going on, Blucka? It's almost looks like you photoshopped LeBron's beard on all of them.
Wait, what?
Oh, probably the thumbnail.
Oh.
9th seed right now. Yes. Jazz lost. Dallas thinking. Yes, that's good. That helps. I don't think the Warriors are going to lose. They were up 21 last I checked. Wish Thomas Bryant didn't request a trade. We need a scoring 186. Yeah. I mean, we just need a big period right now. That would be nice. At least we did get some help today. Yes, agreed. Why do you think Walker is getting no playtime? Because again, he's more of a vacuum guy. He gets tunnel vision a lot. Doesn't really have the playmaking. Um, he's good for scoring in spots, but outside of that, doesn't really provide much. Defensively, he's not very good at all. He's one of our worst defenders. So I think it's just a combination of that. He doesn't. He's not that much better of a scorer. Like he's not going to change the tide completely. I mean, we're putting up, we're top 6 offense, top 5 offense right now. Like what does Walker make us? Like probably keeps us still in that same spot. So it's like, how much better does Walker make us defensively? He does. Like, yeah, it's great. He might score 16 points, but if he gives up 18, it's like he's actually a net negative. So again, I wouldn't mind him being a good or just being like a spots guy who plays 10 minutes a game, whatever. But it's just hard, especially when you got a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I DM Phil Handy asking him why Dennis is closing and using 2 ball handlers instead of 3 or 4 shooters. He actually replied and said they're still trying things respectfully. May see new closing lineups. I mean, yeah, possibly. I mean, look, this team has just gotten put together. You know what I mean? They're still trying to figure stuff out. They're still trying to navigate this and see like what are the best clone lineup. But Dennis Schroeder's also been very good defensively, like really good defensively, especially for as he's our best ball guard defender.
Yeah.
Um, and you need that, especially to close games. Let's go 2-0. We'll be the 7th or 8th spot. Yes, we need that. D'Lo got to chill a little. He gonna cost when we resign him. He is, yeah, he really is. But hey, bam, give him what you can, and then let's keep him. Let's
I
keep
know.
this thing
Pay
going.
that man.
Exactly. We have to win the next 3 games to give us leverage. That would be wonderful. Work on D'Lo and AD's chemistry. Absolutely. After talking to Phil Handy on Insta, I'll never doubt Ham again. He explained to me how much goes into decision making in lineups, and everyone who is done Ham is straight clueless. Which is what I've said. Like, trust the coach. Like I've reiterated that a million times. Like these guys know better than what we do. You know what I mean? Like, problem is like we are all, armchair GMs. We're all armchair coaches. We all think we know what's better, what's this, what's that. Like we're not the guys being paid millions of dollars to do this job. We're not the ones that have all of the analytics, all of the information, all of the, game cards, all of the we just don't have the information.
I just want to say that I just want to say that's super dope that Phil Handy replied to you on Insta though. Like,
hey, yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
all right, yes,
Team
that's
needs
it.
Hulu's to become better. If we get Braun back, that's game changing. Absolutely. Bruh, not going 7-0, bleed purple and gold, but not happening. Our schedule isn't that tough the last 7 games. Our schedule the last 7 games is really easy. So never say never. Don't say it's not happening. Is it likely? Probably not. But come on, LeBron can play now. No, he can't. I mean, if it was like the playoffs, maybe, but no, let him rest.
Wait, are you saying LeBron? I think is he saying that like he can? He's probably holding off to like just to make sure.
He's rehabbing. He's trying to get himself better. I mean, if he could play, he would be playing. I remember when KCP was in a shooting slump like Malik is and got to see one go down. Yeah, I mean that's all you got to do. You have one good game, all of a sudden you're right back on track. Everything's right again. That's how it goes with shooters. All shooters have just bad slumps. I know how valuable AR is off the bench, but I think it's time to give him a starting nod. Imagine him averaging 15 points per game and doing 29, 30. Yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say, I tell you what, if it keeps going the way it's going, he might end up starting. Like during the playoffs, I can see Ham starting him in certain games, depending on what's going on with Beasley. I wouldn't mind it. It's 22 minutes to see what we can do. 29, 30. See, 32, I don't know. I don't know about 32 minutes. I like 25 ish, maybe 25, but I don't know. What do you think?
I wouldn't start AR. Like I would rather them like if you were to move Beasley out of the starting lineup, I would personally rather go Troy Brown, which he's not as good of a
Really?
shooter if Beasley's going.
Yeah.
But here's the reason: I like AR in that gap role. AR in that gap role is beautiful because what he does and how good he is with that bench unit as well as the starting unit, and he usually closes games anyway.
Yeah.
Like the only reason you'd start him is just to say he started, which I'd rather keep him in the gap role and give Beasley less minutes. So you don't start AR, you keep him off the bench. You bring in like a Troy Brown for defense. So now you have D'Lo, you have Brown. So now you just basically upgrade your defense. Yeah, you're not getting as much scoring
Yeah.
unless Brown continues his hot streak. He was bad last night, but the 5 previous games he was really good. But you have you have Brown. You go Brown for defense. So now you have Brown in his actual position, which is the 2 guard, and now he's got that 3 and D. You got D'Lo. You got LeBron on the 4, 80 in the middle, and then Vanderbilt at the 3. So now you've upgraded your defense, and now AR is that bridge gap guy. AR, you could give AR. I'm okay with giving AR 30 plus minutes. That's fine, but you have him in that gap role where he's coming in with the bench unit and some of the starters, right? Because you don't take out all your starters at once. You bring him in and that first wave of off the bench guys. He plays with those guys. You play him with the second unit to kind of help him run and operate the second unit, and then have him finish out and round out the games with the starting unit in place of Troy Brown. Unless Beasley is just shooting the lights out that game. If he's shooting the lights out that game, then you go Beasley. But if he's not, he's just kind of average. Close with AR. So then you go D'Lo, AR, Vanderbilt, LeBron, AD. Boom. There you go. So
you think Reeves is the best closer out of those 3, though?
Out of Brown,
and Beasley, yeah.
When if Beasley isn't shooting the lights out, yes, because just the defense he provides, the playmaking he provides, as good as he plays off of Anthony Davis and LeBron James, yeah, he is. He's the best to close with. I still think even I don't mind the Dennis Schroeder thing. I understand why they go Schroeder just because the ball pressure and how good he is. At defensively how good he's been. So I don't really mind that. Plus Ham loves that. Like that. That's why he's running Schroeder as if in the same way that Budenholzer runs Drew Holiday. Now, obviously, he's not Drew Holiday, but that ball pressure guard that can guard up the floor, that really just puts pressure on the offense. That's what he's operating him as. But just from a talent wise, like both sides of the ball and like decision making, yes, AR is the best out of all. But again, I just think it comes down to like who's just got it that night. It's kind of how I look at it. Let's see. I'm worried about Malik shooting than Troy Brown. I mean, Troy Brown is going to bounce back. Malik has been in a shooting slump for a little minute now. I mean, it's been 4 games, Malik.
And he changed teams. It's still kind of an adjustment for him. So
yeah. I mean, the last Warriors game, he shot 50%. Shot 3 of 6.
I'm not trying to be funny too, but like when you play with certain guys, they know exactly where to like get you the ball. They know exactly what pocket to get you. So it's an adjustment.
Yeah, we got the easiest schedule left. Warriors got mainly road games, so they'll implode. Mavs are imploding even with the easy schedule. Wolves is mid, and Jazz and Blazers are brutal. Even getting to 500 win. Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you. What's going on, Marcus? Salute. They just beat Boston. Hey, like I said, any given day, a team can beat anybody. You can't underestimate any team in the NBA. They're still, at the end of the day, they're still NBA players. Shaw is counseling to learn what not to play with guns. I saw that. When LeBron is back and TJ or Beasley move to the bench, and if we add a backup center, I think we'll be the deepest bench in the league. I mean, we already are the deepest bench in the league, but yeah. Let's see. We definitely don't have the deepest bench in the league. That goes to the Clippers. They literally couldn't score when Ham set D'Lo.
I was gonna say if we don't, the Clippers do that.
Literally, we're one of them. Like I said, we actually are better. We actually have a better bench rating than the Clippers. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're
just on
like
paper.
number.
I think
we're number 2 or 3 overall for the bench. Like for real. Like our bet. Like on paper, the Clippers have a better.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, on paper, they definitely.
Paper doesn't always translate.
No, absolutely not.
So, What's going on, Snorlax? Appreciate you being here.
What's up?
How we doing? I'm good. How about you, Jake?
I'm good. I'm good.
I feel like the Lakers will get the 6th seed in the West. You may be right. You may be right. I wouldn't doubt it. Looking at the Warriors, they'll probably go about 6-8. The rest of their games should be enough to catch them for the 6th seed. I think so too. We just got to keep winning. Yeah, they do. They have the Celtics next. That'll be huge for us. Celtics need to get the job done, especially coming off of a loss to the Rockets. You imagine that they're gonna wanna show up. We moved back to 9th without playing today, which is awesome. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Lakers need to beat the Pelicans. Absolutely. If we don't beat the Pels, we're putting ourselves in another hole and try to dig out of. I agree. We have to beat the Pelicans. Like that might be one of the most important games of the season.
I guarantee you AD shows up for that game. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, he loves to play the Pelicans. I really believe the Lakers, the real threat once LeBron returns. We got to go on a winning streak again until LeBron returns and AD and D'Lo can push the Lakers towards the playoffs. I think we'll be okay. I expect them to win more games than they lose until we get LeBron back. Ham is taking too long for calling timeouts. He's been fine. You only have so many timeouts. Like, you have to budget. You have to budget your timeouts. Like, you have to. Here's the thing. Like, people want Darvin Ham to call timeouts every single time a team goes on a run. You have to let the game play out, right? Like, there's no coach that every single time a team goes on a run, they use a timeout. They'd be out of their timeouts by the second quarter. Like, you would have zero timeouts.
Well, not only that, they wouldn't find a coaching job almost any. I get it. You call a timeout to stop a run, but the thing is, like you said, you got like these guys. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, you gotta play within the flow of the game, right? Basketball is a game of runs. At some point you have to let the players play. And you need to save timeouts for the end of the game, right? Like, you don't want to blow all your timeouts because it's been a back and forth game and both teams constantly are going on runs. And every time they go on a run, you call a timeout. And now it's late game. It's a close game and you have no timeouts to use. You'll lose the game. Like, you have to be smart in your decision making. That's why you see Ham. He'll let them play. He'll let them run. And then, if we're up 5 and all of a sudden they push it to 7, okay, you call a timeout. You're not going to call a timeout when they go up 2, and then all of a sudden now they continue that run. And now you're going to call another timeout. And it's like, okay, well now you have like one timeout left. And it's like, now what? Now if they go on an even bigger, like it's about processing. Again, it's about letting the flow of the game go. What were we saying? What did you want to say?
No, I was just saying, and he's very big on getting like 3 stops in a row. So like he like teaches his guys, like Ham's like, okay, if we get 1 stop, we can get 3, and that's gonna dead any run, obviously. But like, yeah, he's really, really big on that.
Yeah. Hopefully Celtics beat them, and I'm no Celtics fan. Celtics will help out the Lakers do. Yeah. Hey, I hope that they beat them too. Right. I'm not a Celtics fan either, but that day I'll be rooting for the Celtics to beat them. Ham did make adjustments. They just didn't work out. 2 different things. Exactly. And sometimes they don't. That's how it goes. That's how it works. Like Ham made adjustments in the Toronto game. And guess what? They worked out. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes teams just don't have it. At some point, you got to put things on the players. At some point, the players actually have to play and show up. I love Malik, but I'd love to see a trade for Buddy Hield. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't mind it. I think Malik's better defensively though, and he's younger. Lakers are firing Ham. Y'all must not know Genie. He's not fired. They're not firing him. Has been one of, if not the best coaches since we've gotten the trade. He's been really good. You're not a number 1 defense, top 5 offense, which we were top 7 before this trade. You don't do that without good coaching. Like, it doesn't, like, you have to have some. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, we're a championship contender, we're a really good team, we're the best team, but the coach is terrible. So what is it? Like, you can't put losses on the coach, but not put the wins on the coach, right? Like, if the coach is to blame for the losses, well, then he's solely to blame for the wins too. So what is it? You can't have it both ways. Like, you can't, like, oh, when we lose, it's the coach's fault, but when we win, it's everyone else. It's everyone else's. They did it. It had nothing to do with the coach. Like you're not a we're one of the best out of timeout teams in the league. We're one of the best. We're the best defense in the league. We're one of the best offenses in the league. You don't do that without coaching. Like it just doesn't happen.
No.
You know, like it's just how it goes. Again, you can't pick and choose. Yeah, it has to be consistent. I'd rather keep the Lakers squad. I 100% believe in going to turn things around. No, I have no problems keeping this Lakers squad. Keep them. I am totally okay with it. It's just, again, if you have an opportunity to upgrade, you upgrade. Ham has done nothing but play players for the best matchups. The only thing you can possibly criticize Ham on is the minutes he doesn't give AR. Yeah, that's what you do. You make adjustments based on the matchups. Why did OKC go below us and the Pels when we had when they had the tiebreaker against us? I'm not complaining or anything, but it's weird because tiebreakers don't really kick in until the end of the season. Like when you look at some standings, some of them will like factor it in, but like a lot of like the NBA standings, like they just kind of have it like who was the last team to play, so they just haven't. That's usually how it goes. But you can only play the hands you're dealt. Exactly. That's it. Ham going to get outcoached in the playoffs. We will see. We can see LeBron is breaking down year after year. We need AD and D'Lo plus get more depth to help LeBron. I mean, if we get, like I said, if we get upgrade the roster, we upgrade the roster. Knicks loss, depressing, just lifted. Yeah, we back. We there. We're fine. We'll be, like I said, we'll be okay. D'Lo over Trae Young though. Trae Young's is better than D'Lo. I like D'Lo a lot. Trae Young is leading the league in assists and still putting up like 27 points per game. Like the guy, like I'm
Stephen,
not the biggest Trae Young.
Drugs are bad for you.
Yeah, like Trae Young's undersized. Trae Young has a lot of issues, but Trae Young is really good.
He is that guy. I'm telling you. After like behind like Ja and like Luka, yeah, Trey. We're talking about face of the league for the next like few years. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what's funny is fun stat.
D'Lo's not even close to like. No.
I don't know about this year because I haven't looked it up this year. But last year, we all know Russell Westbrook was number 1 in the league and missed layups. Jason Tatum was number 2. Jason Tatum misses a lot of layups. Like a lot of people get on Russell Westbrook for missing layups. Tatum is the second worst in the league. I don't know about this year, but last year he was. So that doesn't surprise me that he missed a game layup. If Lakers don't offer D'Lo a max, he's gone. I don't see it because he doesn't have options. He might not sign a multi-year deal, but he like where's he gonna go? Like all the teams that are good don't have money to pay him, and all the teams that are bad, most of them already have guys that at the position D'Lo plays. Like what? Maybe the Pacers would want him. You know, so maybe the Pacers would take him, but outside of that, like, and are the Pacers going to give him a max? I don't think he's going to get a max. I think he'll get 100 to maybe 125 million, somewhere in that ballpark. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, maybe they just pay him. I don't know, but I don't think they'll have to give him a max. No matter what. Don't want to do that. No matter what happens, you keep Bando, D'Lo, AD, AR, Rui, and LeBron. If you want to move Malik. For someone like Hill, I'm all for it. But Lakers got a strong core now. Yeah, exactly. You keep the core guys, keep them together. If you can upgrade, you upgrade. But you got to keep, your 5 or 6 guys. No, we keep the team for the long run. I agree. Suns is sinking. No bench depth. Yeah, and they don't have defense. So and losing KD doesn't help. Trade AD, Miles Turner, and Buddy Hield. Nah. Nah, that's okay. We'll do that. Yeah, we won't do that. That's a hard pass. Mo, Bamba, and Turner next year will be great.
I don't know about Booker. Booker's that guy, Zach. Booker, that's another one. Booker's that guy.
Tyler on that yak tonight. Like I said, it was just an example. I wasn't saying that they are. I specifically said
talking about like
that I'm not saying that
Turner
they're going to. I'm not saying that they'll even be available. I'm simply using them as an example. Don't take it so literal. Let's see. I mean, look at the Warriors. They have like 7. Uh, let's see. Lakers done start cheering for Kawhi and the Clippers. Anyone who says trade AD is an idiot. Low without, yeah, you're not trading AD. They're not trading AD. AD will be fine. Let's see. No, I'm doing it. I don't know who Mo has a higher ceiling than Turner, but that's not true. Turner is a top 5 big. Yeah, if you can get Turner, you do it. Again, it was just an
Wait,
example.
like as in Obama has a higher ceiling than? Oh no, no.
He might. I mean, he might.
I
But,
mean, yeah,
Turner is who he is. Like Turner isn't going to get like that much
that's true.
bigger. You know what I mean?
But I feel like Obama's just. I mean, it's still early for him. But he's progressing. His progression's slow, but I think his progression's slow because he's not necessarily on the right team. But
yeah,
we'll see.
They couldn't afford Gary Payton II, and they lost Otto Porter, key components for the defense. There's a little thing called salary cap. Yes, and you can keep going over the salary cap, which the Warriors have done. They're not losing because they got Gary Payton II back, so there goes that. But secondly, they're not losing because they lost Otto Porter Jr. They're losing because Steph missed half the season, and Klay Thompson took a while to get back to being Klay Thompson. And on top of that, Andrew Wiggins has missed half the season. They're not losing because they lost Otto Porter Jr. Like, Turner is 26, still has plenty of room to grow. He is already one of the most efficient bigs and probably a better shot blocker than AD, if not better, just as good. Yeah, like I said, if you can get them. But again, I was just using them as an example. Too much money ties into Davis and James, and either is going to get you to the promised land. You're up Reeves, and other money goes quickly. Jeannie Buzz said she'll pay whatever it costs as long as we're winning, as long as we're contending for championships. So I will trust Jeannie Buss, who owns the Lakers, over somebody that's on their couch saying this isn't going to happen. Beasley better not start tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Trying to find something else. Many fans are frustrated. I'm assuming frustrated. Ham, he has to go. Ham is fine. Again, there's a reason we're all on our couch saying fire Ham, and he's making millions as they go. What's funny is I can't wait. If we win the championship, I'm not saying we will. But I'm saying, let's say we win the NBA championship. I can't wait to see all the comments like this all of a sudden go, Ham is the greatest coach ever, NBA champions. I'm telling you,
Hall of Famer coach, better than Popovich, better than
all time. I always believed in Darvin Ham. I always knew Darvin Ham was going to be it. I always knew Darvin Ham was the MVP, greatest coach in Lakers history. I'm telling you, dude, I want to win the NBA championship solely to see all the people just completely flip-flop because it's so funny. It happens all the time. It's hilarious. It really is. It's hilarious to me. Warriors are legit the greatest team of all time at home and the worst team of all time on the road. Yeah, seriously.
Hey, that 96 Bulls team was pretty beast too.
It's hilarious. Let's see. Malik ain't good at defense either. He has been since he's been on the Lakers. Let's see. So if the Lakers win another championship, then what are y'all gonna say? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so funny. Like everybody. It's so funny to just see people flip up. I do. I love it. Lakers need a rim protector ASAP. It would be nice if we get that. Lakers are back in ninth. See, all was right. All worked out. Just teasing, Tyler. No problem. Hey, it's all good. You're a good pal. I appreciate it.
Pell trolling today.
It's all good. It's a beautiful thing. Bus is the hottest owner in the league. Prove me wrong. I don't know, man. I don't know. Trust and Bus. Trying to get a date with her any moment. Good luck. I'm rooting for you. Never say never, Gary. You know what happens when you never say never, and then it happens? You look like
I know. This is Lakers Nation. What did they say in the bubble year? They said we would never do it. Okay, look.
Every year people are always trying. It's the Lakers. People like to troll. People like to talk. People like to say what they gotta say. Like I said, I can't wait for us to prove everybody wrong. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be a wonderful thing. But anyway, got to the end of the chat. Any parting words before we get on out of here? Anything you want to say?
I can't wait. This might be one of the greatest playoff like battles amongst the entire league that we've seen. I'm gonna try to watch every game. Like
Oh,
I'm
this is gonna
honestly,
be fun.
it's really gonna be fun to watch, and I am thrilled. I'm so excited because we actually get to see some we're gonna see some dog fights. I'm calling it. There's gonna be there's gonna be so many like Game 7 series that
This the playoffs is gonna be great. This run that we're about to see, like the NBA is so exciting right now. Like even like as Laker fans, like us watching all these other games, like we need the Warriors to lose, we need Dallas to lose, we need this to lose, we need like it's just I don't know, it just is exciting to me. Like I enjoy it. Like I'm here for the ride. But anyway, I put a link in the chat. That's to my own personal channel, As It Stands Lakers. I'm pretty sure all of you are subscribed. But if you're not subscribed to my personal channel, please subscribe to my own personal channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. But more importantly, subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate it. We're one subscriber away from 3170. I'm sure there's at least one of you that aren't subscribed. Take a second, hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. Tell a friend, tell a dog, tell a cousin, whatever. And hit that like button on your way out as well. Outside of